Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Dean Bloodworth, and as you can tell by the graphics, I'm going to be running this evening Caves of the Kobold Slave Masters, which is a dungeon that is made, or I should say, adventure that is made for the Four Against Darkness solitaire dungeon delving pen and paper game. So I've done several videos now featuring this game system, and this is the very first adventure that I'm actually trying out. So I've never used their adventures other than just generating the one in the core book. A totally random generated dungeon. So this is the first time that I'm actually following a semi scripted adventure. So what I'm going to do is I'll flip through. I'll show you some of the materials that I'll be using for this presentation, and I will change views and do that now. So here's the booklet, and the booklet is it's for characters, recommended for characters levels 1 or 2. All of my characters are level 1. And so I will be following through the adventure, you know, the adventure sequence as it lays out, and I once I get to the parts where it's calling for me to actually generate a map, which will be in the second video that I do here. That's when I'll switch views, and you'll be actually observing the map, as it's being created. So moving on, so here are my character sheets. So my first character, which I've used these characters before as well, I've just brought them back down to level 1 because I'd like to see how they run through this particular adventure, which is designed for level 1 characters. So my first is Tybor. He's my dwarf, first level. I have their starting equipment already laid out. I am then going to, and this is in their marching order as well. My barbarian Ragnar, all right, also first level. My cleric Clovis, and it shows down here his 3 blessing spells, his 3 healing spells, and his healing stats is a d6 plus 1 per healing spell that he does. And I've already pre-slugged all of these character sheets, so it has the traits of each class already put into them. So if a character dies, all I have to do is change their names and everything. I just found it was a much simpler way to change up characters as needed. Finally, Oflana, which is my elf, only female in the group, and as you can see, elves are elves are kind of like fighter magic users. So she will have 1 spell at first level, so she's taking sleep, actually. So she's taking sleep, and you can see that they get, she wears the light armor, she has a shield, and she typically uses her. Why didn't put her long sword down? Oh, sword plus 1. So she does carry a long sword, a plus 1 long sword. All right, and then this is a party sheet that I developed that just allows me to do a quick reference of all of my characters, though, so the entire party. And so as I'm running through the adventure, I will be, keeping track of, various things like their life points and their, what actual number of kills that they accumulated during the adventure. Because I use that really for divvying up treasure if it becomes questionable as to which character should get what treasure items. Now, some other items that you need a piece of graph paper. I've printed out some other resources. So this here is the guide to the dungeon and room building tables. All right, and this uses the D66, and so if you followed my previous videos, but you'll see them in action as well here and how that works. When you roll up your dungeons, here's a kind of a quick reference sheet to tell me what type of dungeon or what type of room or corridor I'm supposed to tack on to that dungeon format as it start or floor plan as it starts coming out. And then I pulled this off as well. So this is an encounters sheet, so I get able to keep track of the encounters that the party actually engages on during the course of this adventure. After every 10 encounters that the characters face, they can have the potential for a level increase. Every boss that they fight is also a potential level increase. So I'm going to bring up this sheet here because that's my primary. And my character sheets over there. I'm using this time around my new double D6 dice. So these are really D12s with the D6 printed on them twice. And so it should limit the amount of rolling that I have to do. And so for the purposes of this, my black with red is going to be my 10s. That's my 1s. And then this is my D6 for, checking out room contents. So I can actually calculate all 3 rolls, in one shot. So I'm going to begin with the Caves of the Kobold Slave Masters. And they give me a brief synopsis on how to play the adventure. And we're going to go right to chapter 1. So I'm going to start out using this map. So I'm not generating a map, I'm actually following this map. And as I go to each and every room, I'll look at the reference and see what I'm supposed to do, as I get there. Now, I have not pre-read this because it actually asks you not to. So we'll see. We'll see how this is going to work out for my group, and I will, read to you. All right. So the Cave of the Kobold Slave Masters. The Kobold Slave Masters are a plague upon the lands, capturing goblins and other creatures. Recently, they have been captured. Recently, they have even captured Elvin, an old, much-loved adventurer who started to police their area, wanting to put wrongs to right. However, in a new development, an escaped goblin has revealed the location where the kobolds keep Elvin. The town council has hired a party of 4 adventurers. Yes, that's your party. To rescue Elvin. Your party will be paid 100 gold pieces if you can return Elvin safely to town before nightfall. It would also be great if you could discover why the kobolds are acting so aggressively of late. Your party enters the map at section 1. All right, so I am looking at section 1 now. You step down into the stone stairs and enter the darkness of the kobold's lair. An unnatural sense of dread permeates the air. This is an old spell that protects the cave from noisy intruders. Each character must save versus level 2 fear or suffer a -1 when attacking any kobolds until the end of the adventure. A blessing spell will remove this condition. All right, so The first thing I have to do is have all of my characters roll. Each character must roll save versus a level 2 fear. Tybar rolled a 6. And something I haven't done before, in the last, previous videos, I kind of missed this thing. When you roll a natural 6, it's called an exploding 6, and he would actually get a second roll if needed. The barbarian rolled a 1, so the barbarian is going to be affected by this. Suffer a -1 when attacking any kobolds until the end of the adventure. So I'm going to jot that down here, that he is going to be a -1 versus kobolds. That's unless I choose to, use a blessing spell to remove. My cleric rolled a 2, so he's fine. And, my elf, though, gets a +1 to spell saves, so my elf is fine as well. So really, it's only my my barbarian. So I'm going to hold off on using a blessing spell on him at this time. I will see how much it actually impacts him during the adventure. All right, so my characters enter into number 1. Now they're into this. Number 2 is a long corridor. Let's see, where is number 2? Oh, no, it's not. So now we're into this long corridor. So for corridors, I'm going to check to see if they encounter anything in this hallway. Ooh, that almost rolled right off. And so I rolled a 1, which is going to be a random encounter. So we will check under random encounters. I'm just looking for the table. I have everything here on, let's see. Spells, encounters. Wandering monsters. All right, it's a d6. I rolled a 6, and so roll on the boss monsters table. All right, so we are going to roll on the boss monsters table. Now let me see if they have a specific one in this book here. Let's see. Interesting, there isn't a Chapter 1 and 2 Demonic Minions table, Chapter 2 a Boss Monsters table. I'm not in Chapter 2 yet. Chapter 1 and 2 Kobold Caves Vermin table, Chapter 3, Chapter 1, 1, 1, 1. So no Boss Monsters table for Chapter 1. Very interesting. So what I will do is I will just go to the regular one. So boss table. So I'm going to roll. I rolled a 5, and that 5 is a Chaos Lord. All right, so a Chaos Lord is a level 6. It has 3 attacks. Treasure gets 2 rolls on treasure. So level 6. So the very first boss that my characters are encountering, let's see what that would have been on in this game. Demonic boss table. A 5 would have been a Chaos Overlord. So not very much different, is it? Chaos Lord. This one's actually a little bit... this one has 6 life, and that one only had 4. 3 attacks, 2 treasure rolls. Before fight begins, roll a d6 to determine the Overlord's special powers. Evil Eyes. Attack wound from an Overlord must save versus level 4 magic or lose 1 level. Hellfire Blasts. Okay. So we are going to roll for its special ability, and a 1 to 4 is Evil Eyes. Character must save versus level 4 magic or be -1 on all defensive rolls until the Chaos Lord is slain. All right, so, well, at least it doesn't have energy drain. So, okay. So all the characters must save versus level 4 or have a -1 during this combat. So my dwarf has a -1. My barbarian is fine. My cleric is fine with a 5. My magic user is fine with a 4 because of the bonus, so really only Tybor, my dwarf, will have a -1 during this combat. So, we're going to go here. We have a boss. This boss has 6 hit points. Okay, he's a level 6. There's only 1. Okay. All right, my characters are going to attack first, as they tend to do so. So Tybor is going to have a +1. All right, so he missed. The barbarian will have a +1. 4, he missed. And because they're in a corridor, the other 2 won't necessarily be able to attack at this point. So the Chaos Overlord gets 3 attacks. So my characters are now rolling for their defense. So a +2 and a +2. So 3 attacks. So I have to determine who they're attacking, who the Chaos Lord is attacking first. So Tybor would be a 1 and a 2. So I rolled a 1. And let's see, the second attack will be Tybor again, and third attack, oh, I rolled 3 1s in a row. So all 3 attacks at Tybor. So Tybor gets a +2 defense. He's got to beat level 6, so he needs to roll. All right, so that's a defense, you know, so he defended. He defended again. And with a +2, he took a hit there. Now, it doesn't specifically say that, this particular boss does 2 damage on a hit, so he only does 1. So that's how the system works. So Tybor took 1 point of damage from 3 attacks. So now my character's attack. Tybor attacks. He rolled a 6. All right, so that's a natural 6. So he is going to do... He needed a 6 to hit. He gets a +1. So he's going to do 1 damage to the boss, but it's an exploding 6. So he gets a second roll. And this time he rolled another 6 points, again. And so that is enough to damage this lord, this overlord. So he did 2 points of damage with just that 1 hit. The barbarian also rolled a 6. So he is going to do 1 point of damage. And he gets a second roll. Wow. He's going to do a 2nd point of damage. Now, when you keep on rolling these 6s, you keep on just stacking up the damage. All right, so a 5 plus another point is a 6. So he actually did 3 points of damage to this Chaos Overlord. Now the Chaos Overlord has already taken 5 of 6 points of damage, and so there's a chance that he may flee. All right. So we will go to boss battles in the rule book. Bosses. When a boss loses more than half of his life, its level drops by 1, and it must make a morale roll. So the boss is now a level 5, and it must make a morale roll. A roll of a die, and if the result is 3 or less, the boss flees. So it is a 2. So the boss is going to flee. The boss, the boss level drops immediately as soon as they reduce his life total to less than half, for example. Fleeing monsters that flee disappear from the game. You may not chase them. You still gain their treasure. So he has fled. So he is gone. And I'm going to give credit for the kill of a boss to the barbarian. And there's a chance the barbarian can actually level up here because they defeated a boss. I am going to roll on the treasure table. So 2 rolls on the treasure table. Here I'll roll my 2 dice now. So a 4 and a 4. So whatever 4 is times 2. So 1 green gem worth 2d6 times 5 gold. So 2d6 times 5. All right, so that's the first one is, I just blinked. So 10 gold pieces worth. And the second is 15. So 2 gems. So 2 gems, 10 GP and 15 GP. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do just to show you is I'm going to see if the barbarian can level up here. So really all he has to do is roll higher than a 1, his current level, and he will level up. All right, so he rolled a 5. All right, so he is going to level up. I'm going to make him level 2. And that's going to increase his stats So now he's level 2. He is going to have 8 hit points. He is going to have a +2 to his attack rolls. All right, and so, he has certainly increased here. And it's nice so early on. And so now he is level 2. He is going to have 8 hit points, and he's going to be at a +2 to his attacks. All right, so he still has that minus to kobolds. This -1 is gone off the dwarf. The dwarf is only slightly injured. And so now the characters are going to continue through. So as my characters start walking through this dungeon, they come to a crossway, and they're going to turn right and follow forward, and they will come to. There is a pool of fresh water in this chamber. You may decide that one or more of your characters will drink from it. For each character who does take a drink, roll on a pool table, page 21. Decide before looking at the table. All right, so I will go to page 21. Pool table. So on a 1, the dwarves get a +1, so they can't suffer from this. There's no effect. It's a level 4 poison. The character heals 1 point if they roll a 5 or a 6. And there's no effect on a 2 to 4. So, interesting enough. Well, the dwarf should definitely drink from it because he can't take a poison from it. He can only possibly heal, and he's going to get a +1 to this roll anyway. So he needs a 4, 5, or 6 in order to heal. And there he goes. So he just healed himself. None of my other characters are wounded, so they're not going to drink from it. Would make sense for them. It's kind of odd how they have me read ahead of time the encounter. So it's not as spontaneous, and they give me the choice beforehand, but still a good outcome. All right, they are now going to go to the next room, and so I'm going to go to this room. So a goblin is chained to the wall of this large chamber. The chains are weak and rusted, and you may easily free him. If you do so, he can join your party. His name is Rika. Treat him as a level 0 warrior, no attack bonus, except that he attacks kobolds at a +1. Rika may use only light armor and shield and bow or sling, light weapon, or hand weapon. You have to provide the equipment. Any shield belonging to a dwarf and armor belonging to a dwarf or halfling will be small enough for the goblin to use. Rika originally has 2 life points, but is now down to 1 life because of the beatings that the kobolds have inflicted upon him. You can restore him to 2 life if you use a healing spell or apply bandages. If he joins the party, you will have to give him at least 20 gold pieces at the end of the adventure. If you free him but you do not let him join the party, he will exit the dungeon. So, hey, we might as well have him join. So Rika is going to join, and we do have extra weapons that so Rika has life points 2. He has no bonuses, so he's not pluses to anything. And actually, he's currently at a life of 1. I am going to arm him with a warhammer that the dwarf was carrying. And we don't have extra armor, but we do have extra shields. So he can take the dwarf's shield too, and a shield. So his armor will be a +1. Now the dwarf is going to have him, seeing that he's wounded, the dwarf is going to suggest that he drinks from the pool on the other side. And so we will go to page 21. This could actually kill him, but only on a roll of a 1. He rolled a 6. So 5, 6, the character heals 1 wound. So he is back up to 2. So, perfect. They will now continue down the corridor. And they're going to come to 2 doors, one on their right and left. So now they're here. The party group is right here in front of these 2 doors. And doors, they are locked on a, let's see, trapdoors and doors. On a 1 to 2, a door is locked. So they're going to go and test this, the door to room 5 first. So all right, so the door is not locked. They're going to enter 5. This room is a library. Shelves are hewn from the stone walls, are filled with dusty old tomes and scrolls. You may leave it alone or search it. Rolling on the library table, page 21. Decide before you're looking at the table. All right, so we are going to search it. And so we're going to search it. And we're going to roll on 21. The library table. The elf is going to roll. Ooh, he rolled a 1. A character performing this search is bitten by a scorpion and must save versus level 3 poison or lose 1 life. Nothing of value is found, but may roll again if you want. Okay, so the elf has to roll versus poison. So let me double check and make sure that the elf is not, doesn't have any bonuses for poison. Nope, no poison rolls. I'm pretty sure dwarves have a bonus on poisons. But anyway, he's going to, he has to roll against a level 3 poison. Yeah, dwarves get a +1 on poison rolls. So, he rolled a 3, so he's fine. He can roll again, may roll again if you want. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to continue searching. A 6. So the character finds a scroll containing a clue and a random spell. Use the random spell calculation table on page 47. So the elf gained a clue. And page 47 for random spell. which is on page 50. 5, escape. And he gained an escape spell. Escape spell. Okay. We're going to go to the next room across the way and check to see if that door is locked. A 6, it is not locked. Rolling a lot of 6 with these new dice. All right, so room 8. This is the lair. Oh no, that's room 9. New room 8. As you enter this room, the character in first rank and right position is attacked by a level 3 trap. A magically animated noose descends from the ceiling and tightens around the neck, strangling him. If it fails to avoid the trap, the hero will lose 1 life point and be lifted off his feet. He can now perform multiple attempts to break free. Each failed attempt will cost him 1 life point. In the room sits a chest containing 50 gold pieces. So this is my my barbarian is on the right, and so as you enter, he needs to roll a level 3 against a level 3 trap. Now he's 2nd level, so it's not too bad. 3, so he survived, and so he's not going to take any points of damage. And they gained 50 gold pieces. Now, okay, we are going to go forward. So now that's room 8. So they're going to start going down this hallway now. My screen keeps on going into a screensaver, so they're going to go in through this side first. So towards 11. Check to see if the door is locked. The door is not locked. And we will now enter into room 11. This is the lair of a manticore, a monster with a lion's body and a human's head, the tail of a scorpion, and huge bat wings. The manticore is a level 5 boss with 3 life. So, 2nd boss battle. Level 5. It had 2 life. Level 5 boss with 3 life. All right. It attacks twice. I have to check to see the nature of the attacks. The treasure around the manticore's neck. There's a pennant worth 80 gold pieces. If you have any rogue the party, which I don't. Okay. Once back in town, he can... All right, so that's not an issue. The pennant table's on page 21. Defeating the manticore, the party gains 1 experience point roll. All right, so my... All right, so the dwarf is going to attack first. He rolled a 4. He is at a +2, so that's a 6. The manticore is only a level 5, and so he did 1 point of damage. The barbarian is going to attack. He is at a +2 to attack. Rolled a natural 6, so he is going to do 1 point of damage with that, and he gets to roll a second time. He rolled another 6, and he just killed his second boss. So usually it's Tybor the dwarf that is so effective in conquering these things. So so now it's kind of odd that the roles have changed so far. So let's see. So that was a very quick battle. And let's see. There was a pennant worth 80 gold pieces around the thing. Plus there's got to be a treasure roll. No, it's just that. So 80 gold pieces. A pennant. Okay. I gotta... So I'm going to have Tybor roll for his chance of, and he rolled a 6. So the dwarf is going to go up to 2nd level. He is going to gain in basically all of his attacks because he is a fighter. His life points are now going to be a 7. So he just went up to 2nd level. And I know his bonuses now. Okay. So that was room. So that was in room 11. So we're going to go forward. We'll see if this door at 4 is locked. That's a little corridor. It is not locked. We'll come to the next door at 3. 3 is locked. So when you encounter a locked door and you do not have a thief, we go to trapdoors. Bashing a door. Roll a die with a character. Barbarians and warriors add their level. Roll a die to determine how sturdy the door is. So on a 1 to 3, the door is a level 3. A 4, 5, or 6, the door is a level 4. So, all right, the door is a level 4. So now my dwarf and my barbarian are going to try to bash down this door. Fortunately, they only need to roll. They get their pluses. So the dwarf hits it for a 4. A door will always be level 3. All right, so it's a level 3. All right. If not otherwise specified. If you beat the door opens. All right, so the door opens. Okay. So now they're going to go to room 3. A pulsating sphere of energy glows in this room. A wizard may inspect it. If you choose to do so, roll on an energy sphere table. Add the wizard's level to the dice roll. Decide before looking at the table. I don't have a wizard. I have a elf. I'm not sure if that matters. It would have said a wizard or an elf, so they just kind of look at this pulsing orb and move on. They come to 16. Well, there's 2 doors. There's a small one, not locked. Let's see, 16. This door is locked. A rogue may pick it. It's level 3 lock. If there is no rogue and fails, the door can be bashed. All right, so they'll bash their way. All right, they bash their way through it, and they come back out into that corridor. So now they can move forward to straight across from them. There's a corridor that goes straight across, and then the main corridor that goes forward. They could probably hear water running forward. So they're going to move to the door at the end of this corridor first. It is not locked, and that is room 2. This is an armory guarded by 6 kobolds, counting as level 3 minions. They're armed with flails and wrapped around shields when they're defending from their attacks. Your characters may not enjoy defense bonuses from shields. Okay. The reactions, the room is filled with weapons. You may take D6 plus 2 non-magical weapons of any variety or type as desired, but the kobolds are small. You will not find any two-handed weapons. All right, so there are a total of, I just lost track of it. So there's a total of 6 kobolds, counting as level 3 minions. All right, so encounter. So these are minions, level 3. There's 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The barbarian still at a -1 against kobolds. My dwarf is going to attack. So he rolled a 7. So you see that they're level 3. So because he hit in excess of a 3, he's going to actually take out more than 1, and since it's in excess of 6, he will actually kill 2 of them with that 1 attack. It was not exploding, so he doesn't keep on going, but he has killed 2 minions. The barbarian attacks. He likewise rolled a 5, so he killed 1. They attack. So the dwarf's defense is a 3. It matches, so he defended. The barbarian rolled a 5. He defended. And then a third attack. Oh, I didn't roll to see who that third attack was coming from against the Tybor, the dwarf. And he rolled a 3, so he defended. So they managed to defend the 3 attacks. It's the next round. The dwarf attacks. He rolled a natural 6. Loving these new dice. So so that's going to do a total of 9 points of damage. So that's going to kill 3 of them. All right, because they are level 3. So 1, 2, 3. I knew the dwarf would eventually start bouncing back, and so they may take D6 plus 2 non-magical weapons of any variety. All right, so they're going to take 4 weapons. All right, so 4 weapons. Okay. The dwarf will take back his warhammer and still leave the goblin. They'll check the door to room 13. It is not locked. Room 13. A troll lives here. and he is a greedy weapons collector. If a rogue is leading the party into the room, he must be in the front rank of the marching order. You catch the troll unawares while he is polishing a sword, giving you a +1 attack bonus. All right, so we don't have a rogue. The troll is level 5 boss. Wow, they're throwing a lot of bosses in this. So a troll, level 5 boss 1. So the troll is a level 5 boss. He has 4 life points, 2 attacks. All right, after every round, he rolls on a d6, a 4 or 5. He will regain 1 lost life point. On a 6, 2 lost life points, but never exceeding the original 4. If brought to 0 or less life, roll a d6. On a 3 or better, it comes back to life with 1 life point only, unless a character can attack it with a slashing weapon. When it is on the 0 or less hit points, it does not make a regeneration roll. All right, treasure. The room contains d6 plus 1 non-magical weapons of any variety, type, or desired. However, on a roll of 6, on a 5 or 6, the weapons are found as indeed magical or ancient elven make. Treat this as if it was a 4 roll on the magic treasures table, page 34, and 4 against darkness. Okay. And the party gains 1 hit point. All right, if they defeat him. So, 1 experience point. So someone else has a chance of gaining a level here. So we are going to, what were we rolling? So the dwarf is going to attack. The rolls are insane. All right, so the dwarf deals a total of 9 points, level 5. So it's not enough to do 2 damage, but he does 1, and he gets to roll again. This time he rolls enough to do 8 points, which is enough to do a second damage point. He's already taken him down by half, and so at half hit points, he is now level 4, and that's an immediate change. So this boss is already down by half its hit points, so it comes down to a level 4 automatically, and the barbarian attacks. And he rolled a 5, which is just enough to do 1 point of damage. Now, on a 5 or a 6, he is going to recover, and of course he does recover. Actually, he recovered 2 of his points on a 6. So he's already regenerated. He's going to get 2 attacks, 1 on the dwarf, and the dwarf rolled a total of a 7. So he has defended, and the second attack, let's see if it's at the barbarian. It is this time. So the second attack is on the barbarian. The barbarian rolled a 5. He gets a +2, which exceeds the level, and so he was unharmed. So now, let me just change this here. The dwarf attacks. He rolled a 1. That's only a 4. Just barely hit. The barbarian attacks. He hits with a 6. He definitely hit there, and his exploding 6. He rolled a 1, which is only a 3. It's not enough to damage the troll. The troll has a chance of recovering. He does not. The troll attacks twice. His first attack on the dwarf is not enough. He rolled the dwarf rolled a 5. The troll is only a 4. The barbarian rolled a 3, so the barbarian is going to take damage. So he takes damage. He comes down to a 7. Next round, the dwarf rolls a 5, which is enough to do 1 point of damage. The barbarian is going to attack. He has a slashing weapon, so he can attack and basically chop this thing to bits. So the dwarf gains another a boss kill. And now say the magic user or the elf is going to attempt to level up, and he does. So now he is 2nd level. He had a sleep spell. He's going to now take lightning. He has 6 hit points. He is now 2nd level. So that was room 13. Oh, it was D6 plus 1 weapons. So 2 weapons. All right, so 2 additional regular weapons. They can be any size. They don't have to be small like the kobold size. So now they're going to move up the corridor into area 7. Your party's advance is blocked by a fast-flowing subterranean river. There are 3 options. Cross the river on a rundown wooden bridge covered in mysterious writing. Go to 15. 2. Try to ford the river. Go to 14. Or 3. Only if you have a wizard, you can investigate the strange writings on the bridge. Go to 17. So we are going to try to cross the bridge. All right, let's see what that does. $15. As you walk across the bridge, the kobold runes activate and engulf the party in magical flames. All characters must save versus a level 5 danger. Wizards and elves add their level or lose 2 life points. Well, this could be. Survivors manage to cross the bridge. Any characters killed by the runic energy falls into the river and is carried away in the current, never to be found again. All of his equipment and treasure carried is lost. All right, so level 5. So a level 5. So otherwise they're going to take 2 damage. So quite massive. All right, so he rolled a 6. So he's safe. The barbarian rolled a 2. So he's going to take 2 points of damage. The cleric rolled a 2. So he's going to take 2 points of damage. And the elf, who gets a +1 to this roll, rolled a 5. So he is safe. So the cleric is going to heal himself. He's going to roll a d6 plus 1. And that would explode. So he healed himself the whole way. So he's back up to a 5. And he's going to heal the barbarian. Use 2 of his heals now. Yeah, the barbarian's down to 5. He's going to heal the barbarian. He's a +3, so he's going to heal him up 3 points. He's back up to 8. All right. So he used up heals. He has 1 heal left. Okay. They're across the bridge. Okay, so we are going to check out these 2 doors. They're going to try 9 first. This is the lair of a zombie dragon, which is a level 6 undead boss with 6 life. So, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the zombie dragon is level 6. Okay, let's see. Whenever it attacks, roll d6. On a 1 to 3, the dragon breathes a foul gas, and all characters must save versus level 5 poison or lose 1 life. On a 4 or 6, it will bite 2 random characters, inflicting 2 life for each successful hit. All right. The cleric is going to get bonuses on damage. It's an undead boss. Okay. And 1 random magic item in the thing. So, Tybor is going to attack first. He rolled a 1. All right, with his pluses, it's only a plus, so it's only a 4, so he actually missed. The barbarian, he rolled a 6. It's amazing how well I'm rolling here. So he rolled a 6, so that's going to do a total of 8 points of damage, but it's not double, so he did 1, and his exploding, he rolled a 6 again, 1 more time, a 3, all right, which is only a 5, so he did not do more than that. The cleric is going to attack. The cleric is a +1 versus undead. He rolled a 2 total, so he did nothing. So the dragon is going to... let's see if... The elf is going to cast the lightning spell. And lightning spells can do up to 2 points of damage. So he's going to get a +1 to this attack. Actually, he's a +2, so he's going to get +2. So he rolled a 6. Perfect. So lightning does 2 points. The dragon is down to level 5. And let's see. All right, so whenever it attacks, it rolls a d6. On a 1 to 3, it's going to breathe a foul gas, and all characters must save versus a level 5 poison or lose 1 life. So let's see what he's going to do. Nope, he is going to attack. On a 4, 5, or 6, the character will attack 2 random characters, inflicting 2 life points each hit. So, let's see. There were actually 5 characters in this group. So, the first character is Tybor. The second character is Tybor, so it's going to attack the dwarf twice. So, he has a +2. He got hit for 2 points. He saved there, though, so it's a total of a 7. So, the dragon is attacking now as a level 5, so he's good. Next round. Tybor attacks. With a 5, he just hit. Barbarian attacks with a 6, and the barbarian kills the boss. The zombie dragon has 120 gold pieces and 1 random magic item, so 120 gold pieces into the group. A random magic item from the magic table, page 34. Magic table, magic treasure table. A 2, a ring of teleportation. Allows users to automatically pass a defense roll by moving the character out of the room. The character may not take part in the current combat, but rejoins the party as soon as the combat is over. All right, so ring of teleportation. Okay. All right, the dwarf definitely needs to be healed. Actually, he's down to 5 of... Yeah, the dwarf is going to hold off on that last one. Final room. So they're going to check out room 12. There's room 12. All right, room 12. Elvin, the old adventurer, is in this room chained to the wall. 8 kobold slave masters are tormenting him with their whips. When you enter, the kobolds turn to you and demand a ransom of 200 gold pieces to free Elvin. If you do not accept or do not have the amount of money, they will fight and strike first. The 8 kobold slave masters are level 4 minions. They are armed with swords and whips. When defending against them, your defense roll is a 1. The whip disarms you, and you lose 1 life hit point. All right. If disarmed, your follow attacks will be at a -2. You could spend a turn readying another weapon if you have it, or picking up your original weapon. If you retrieve your original weapon, kobold slave masters will gain a free out-of-sequence attack and try to kneel you to pick them up. If you roll a 1 on a defense roll, the kobold has prevented you from picking up the weapon. In addition to the slave masters fight to the death. All right, and then they go through. So, and okay, So they count as minions. They're level 4. There's 8 of them. It says they are going to attack first. So 8 of them. There's 5 characters here. So we're just going to go straight down the line. And so they're going to try to, and they disarmed Timur. So on a 1, so he is disarmed. The barbarian, no. The cleric, no. The magic user, the elf, no. The goblin, no. So now there's 1, 2, 3, 4 characters. Let's see who gets these. The second one, 1, 2, the cleric. Ooh, they disarmed the cleric. Okay. So now the elf is going to cast his sleep spell. So I am going to go to spells and see. The spell works like any attack roll. If it does not affect undead dragons and monsters, the wizard adds his level to the sleep spell will defeat a boss, or it will defeat 1 boss or d6 plus level minions if it hits. So he's going to cast the spell. He's an elf, so he gets a +1. These are level 4. So, and he gets a plus, actually he gets a +2 because he is a thing. So a 4 just hits. So he is going to put d6 +2 to sleep. Put 5 of them to sleep of the 8. Barbarian attacks. And that is going to miss. Cleric is disarmed. Magic user went. The dwarf is going to spend his round picking up his weapon. So it is the 3 left. The dwarf defended. The barbarian defended. The cleric did not. He took a hit. Dwarf attacks. Of course he gets exploding. So he does 9 points of damage. So he is going to kill 2. Does another 5. He kills the remainder. And since the rest are asleep, the rest of the party will just secure them, tie them up, and let's see. We will go back to room 12. Let's see. Room 12. If you defeat the Kobold Slave Masters, your mission is not yet accomplished. You must still free Elvin and walk out of the dungeon alive. Unfortunately, after searching the fallen kobolds, you do not find the keys to the manacles beside Elvin. Freeing him will require a rogue passing a lockpicking roll, level 4. If you have no rogue in the party, or the rogue fails, you must have to smash the manacles using a crushing weapon, which we have plenty of. Each attempt requires a d6 roll or better. Dwarves and barbarians add their level to the roll. Warriors add a +1. Alright, so whenever you roll a 1 during an attempt to break the chains, the clanging noise will attract wandering monsters to the room. So the dwarf adds his level, so he's a +2. So that's a 3. Dwarves and barbarians add their level to the roll, so that's a 3. Add plus, warriors add +1. Whenever you roll a 1 and attempt to break the chain, which he did, the clanging noise will attract a wandering monster to the room. Okay, I'm going to say he did that. So we will go to the wandering monsters table. Let's see if there's one specific to this book. No. So let's see. Not specific in that book. Encounters. Wandering monsters. A3 is a minion. So on the minions table. So now I have a minions in here. Chapter 1 and 2, Demonic Minions table. A 1. 4d6 vampire bats. No treasure. They always fight. 4d6 vampire bats. They're only level 1. That's 7. Plus another 5. So there's minions. Level 1. 7, 12. So 12. Dwarf attacks. So he rolled a 8 total. So he kind of swats through a whole bunch of them. A 4 is the barbarian. And so he is going to deal 6 points of damage. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And they've wiped them all out. So he killed +8. He killed +4. Okay. So now they'll try to break those chains again. They didn't roll a 2 this time, so they broke the chains. They can now bring this part to ending the chapter. Let's see. So let's see how this ends out. So ending the chapter, if you manage to exit the dungeon and bring Elvin to safety, select a character to make 1 XP roll. You gain more than defeating the zombie dragon at 2 XP rolls because it is threatened as a final boss. Slay that manticore was an extra one. Slay the troll, that was an extra one. And slay the kobold slave masters, one extra one. So basically everybody can get an extra roll. But the barbarians are ready, so just really just the cleric. Cleric is the only one. And he didn't roll the first time, but the second time he will go up to level 2. So everybody is now level 2. Slaying the Manticore. Alright, so if Rika joins your party and manages to kill at least one kobold slave master, well, he didn't, he becomes a level 1 warrior and may continue to adventure with you as a 5th party member, as long as you do not have 2 or more dwarves in your party. From this moment on, you can assign him XP rolls and treasure like any other member of the party. You must give Rika at least 20 gold at the end of any adventure. If you have Rika in the party and you meet goblins, you may alter the result of their reactions up or down by 1 as you see fit. The goblins will never surprise your party. Well, he didn't kill one kobold. He didn't actually get a chance to do anything. I'm going to say he gets 20 gold pieces of that, so 80 gold pieces for the party, and he departs. Okay, so that seems to be pretty much it for the first part of this. Once again, as you become much more, accustomed to the systems and, just managing the, the outcomes, it was an interesting experience having to read the selections and kind of try to disconnect yourself from, from a known outcome, and try to choose what the party would do if they didn't know what was coming up, and so that's kind of a difficult thing. The second part of this, from what I understand, is it's not following a preset map, and so the map will generate like the normal system is designed, and so the it won't be as randomized. It'll be more randomized, and so, but I'll see. I'll see how that starts working out once I come out of, this part of it, and so chapter 2. Yeah, chapter 2 does not have those preset encounters like chapter 1 did. So, so far pretty cool. I really enjoyed this. If you like this video, please hit please hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Like if you liked it. Please leave a comment, because comments are very useful for me. And I'll be running the next session once I kind of calculate all of this stuff out and figure out how treasure is going to go, and fully equipped my my characters up. It seems like they got quite a bit of treasure. I got to look into see how you sell off treasure that they gained that they might not necessarily need, and I'm going to start taking a look at some of the things in the 4 Against the Abyss, because that has some other things that I can spend money on to like hire various types of hirelings and other professionals, which I'll probably have the gold pieces to actually do, and that will bring some additional characters along with me, as far as doing mundane things like carrying the lantern and things like that. It was nice not to run into Medusa because every time I've run the random generated adventures, I ran into Medusa almost every time, and they've usually turned to stone three-quarters of the party. So that was a nice change not to have that occur again. So once again, I hope you enjoyed. Have a good weekend upcoming up. I hope that you had a nice Thanksgiving for my fellow Americans out there. And for the rest of you, I look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime very soon. Have a good evening.